Snow clung to Alexandra Ward's coat as she stepped into the restaurant blazing with Christmas lights. Investors lifted their glasses, pretending cheer, while her daughter Matilda pressed closer, her hearing aids buzzing from the noise. Alexandra leaned down, whispering, "Stay with me, sweetheart. Just tonight." But when she turned to greet an investor, Matilda was gone. A sharp breath caught in Alexandra's throat. Then she heard it, her daughter's quiet laugh, rare and bright. Alexandra followed the sound and froze at the sight. A man in a maintenance uniform kneeling beside Matilda, his hands moving in fluent sign. "Is she okay?" Alexandra asked, voice tight. The man looked up gently. "She's scared, but she understands me." Those words landed harder than any boardroom betrayal. Her daughter was speaking, truly speaking, and Alexandra was the only one who couldn't follow. And from this moment on, nothing about the night would go the way she planned. Stay with this story till the end, and subscribe to Canada's Heartfelt Tales for more powerful true-to-life narratives. The restaurant lights shimmered overhead as Alexandra hurried toward her daughter, heels tapping sharply against the marble floor. Investors murmured behind her, sensing something was wrong but too polite, or too self-interested, to ask. All Alexandra knew was that Matilda's laughter had come from this hallway, and the sound still echoed inside her like an unfamiliar warmth. Matilda stood beside the maintenance man, her small hands moving in confident, fluid arcs. The man nodded along, matching her rhythm effortlessly. A boy, his son maybe 10, stood nearby, signing with a speed that made Matilda giggle. When Alexandra stepped closer, Matilda's expression softened, then shifted into concern. She signed a question Alexandra didn't fully understand. Something about okay, and stay. Alexandra forced a breath. "I'm here, honey," she said, hoping tone could fill the gaps her hands could not. But Henry, the maintenance worker, saw everything. Her hesitation, her effort, her quiet shame. "She was frightened at the table," he said gently. "This hallway helps her hear herself think." Alexandra blinked. "You understand her." "I do." His answer was simple, but it cracked something open inside her. Before she could respond, the hallway lights flickered again, buzzing with a faint electrical whine. Matilda flinched and covered her ears. The hearing aids amplified every harsh frequency. Henry stepped forward instinctively, blocking the sharp glare from above with his body as Finn dimmed a nearby sconce. "It's all right," Henry signed softly to Matilda. "Just a mistake in the wires. I'll fix it." But the lights continued to stutter. Inside the dining room, the investors grew restless, voices rising like a low storm. Alexandra heard bits of annoyance. "Unprofessional. On a night like this. Ward should have prepared better." And then came the voice she dreaded most. "Corbin." "Alexandra," he said, striding toward her, "your daughter is disrupting the evening again." She stopped moving. "She's not disrupting anything." He lowered his voice, but his eyes gleamed. "Leon is already agitated. We cannot have personal complications tonight." Alexandra felt heat rise behind her eyes. "She's a child, not a complication." Corbin leaned in. "Make a choice. The deal or the distraction." The words cut deeper than he knew. Before Alexandra could answer, the lights across the restaurant snapped off, plunging the room into a muffled darkness broken only by emergency lamps. Matilda gasped, hands flying to her ears as the speakers crackled violently. "Henry," Finn said, "that's the sound loop again." "I know," Henry muttered, already moving toward the maintenance room. Alexandra turned, torn between following him and shielding her daughter. Matilda trembled against her, her hands signing fast and panicked. Alexandra tried to follow, hurt, noise, stop, but the shape slipped through her grasp. "I've got her," Finn said softly, stepping closer. He signed slowly, giving Matilda something steady to focus on. Her breathing steadied. Alexandra felt a sting. This boy, barely older than her daughter, could reach her in ways she still couldn't. Inside the maintenance room, sparks hissed. Henry opened the panel and froze. Wires had been loosened deliberately. A fuse was halfway out of its housing. Someone had engineered the chaos. He repaired it with rapid, practiced movements. When he returned to the dining hall, the lights hummed back to life. A scattered applause rose from some of the investors, relief disguised as courtesy. But Corbin wasn't relieved. He marched toward Henry. "Why were you away from your post? Why were you near the CEO's daughter?" Henry straightened. "She was scared." "That is not your responsibility," Corbin snapped. Alexandra stepped between them. He helped her. "That is his responsibility, as a human being." Corbin ignored her. "Security," he called. "Check his bag." Gasps followed. Even the waitstaff stilled. Henry didn't resist, but Finn's face went pale. "Dad didn't do anything." The security guard searched Henry's tools with clinical coldness. Nothing suspicious. Nothing stolen. No evidence of wrongdoing. But Corbin wasn't finished. "The USB drive containing tonight's financial presentation is missing." "Convenient, isn't it?" Alexandra stared at him. "You can't be serious." Corbin smiled thinly. A man wandering where he shouldn't, systems failing at the perfect moment. It paints a troubling picture. Henry clenched his jaw but stayed silent. That silence was broken by a small, steady voice. "Matilda." She stepped forward, shaking but determined. She tapped Henry's hand, then faced the room. Her signs cut through the air, sharp and deliberate. "He's good," she signed. "He helped me. He fixed the noise. He is my friend." Most of the room didn't understand, but Alexandra did. Not every word but enough. She translated, voice clear. "She says he protected her. And she trusts him." Corbin scoffed. "She's a child. Emotional. Unreliable." The room chilled at his tone. Henry swallowed hard. "Check the camera near the electrical panel. 30 minutes before I arrived." Leon's eyebrows lifted. "Play it." The footage appeared on the display screen. A figure in a server's uniform sneaking into the maintenance room, tampering with wires, then moving toward the coat racks. The build was slender. Hands nervous. Back hunched. Hillary, Alexandra's PR manager, turned ghost white. Corbin stepped forward. "This proves nothing." Finn tugged on Matilda's sleeve, signed quickly, and Matilda passed the message to Henry. "Sir," Henry said, "Finn saw Corbin near the jackets. 15 minutes ago." Security moved swiftly. They checked the pockets of a coat belonging to one of Corbin's closest associates. The missing USB drive slid out. Gasps filled the room in a sudden tidal wave. Corbin raised his hands. "This is absurd. Anyone could have." Alexandra interrupted him. "Stop. Just stop." Her voice carried a weight she had never used against him before. "You staged tonight to destabilize me," she said. "You preyed on my daughter's vulnerability and this staff member's position. You thought I'd break under pressure. But you underestimated the one person you dismissed." Her eyes shifted to Matilda. "My daughter sees everything." Corbin tried to pivot toward Leon. "Surely you don't believe this." Leon held up a hand. "I believe what is in front of me. And what I see is sabotage." Security took Corbin by the arms. He struggled, not with dignity but with desperation. "You can't remove me," he hissed. "Oh, I can," Leon replied coolly. "And I will. Effective immediately." Corbin looked frantically at Alexandra. "This is your doing." "No," she said, stepping closer. "This is yours." As they led him away, Matilda reached for Alexandra's hand. Alexandra squeezed back, grounding herself in the moment. Her daughter choosing connection, not fear. But the story didn't soften there. When Alexandra returned to the table, Leon gestured for her to sit. "You fought for your daughter," he said. "You fought for truth. That's the kind of leadership I want." She exhaled, a shaky breath she'd held for too many years. "Thank you," she said quietly. Henry approached then, hesitant. "I'm sorry you had to go through that." Alexandra shook her head. You were the only one who helped when everyone else looked away. Matilda tugged Henry's sleeve and signed something small, intimate. Henry smiled. She says she's not scared anymore. Alexandra swallowed hard. Can I learn that? What you just did? With time, Henry said. With patience. Matilda took her mother's hands and guided them through a simple sign, correcting her gently. Alexandra laughed through the tightness in her chest. Real, human, imperfect. The dining hall felt different now. Softer. Honest. The chandeliers still glittered, but no longer with the cold weight of expectations. Instead there was something new. Space for healing, connection, possibility. Yet the night held one more twist. As Corbin was escorted outside, reporters, alerted by the commotion, waited by the entrance. Cameras flashed. Microphones shot forward. Mr. Corbin, is it true you attempted to sabotage your CEO? Did you frame a maintenance worker? Were you trying to seize the company? Security kept the reporters at a distance, but not far enough to stop the world from witnessing the downfall he had engineered for someone else. Corbin turned, eyes burning with the realization that this time, the consequences belonged entirely to him. Inside, Matilda signed a single word into her mother's palm. Safe. And for the first time in years, Alexandra believed it. In the days that followed, the restaurant incident spread quietly through corporate circles, but Alexandra felt none of the old fear. Instead, she moved through her office with a steadier presence, no longer hiding the part of her life she once treated like a liability. Meetings paused when Matilda stopped by, and no one dared call it a distraction. They had seen the truth for themselves. Henry visited the company a week later to begin advising on accessibility. He arrived with Finn, who carried a small paper star Matilda had made. When she placed it into Henry's hands, Alexandra watched something settle between them. Simple, honest trust built from the kind of moments money could never buy. That evening, Alexandra practiced signing beside her daughter before bedtime. She stumbled, reversed a shape, tried again. Matilda didn't correct her with frustration. She smiled, patient and proud, as though watching a door finally opening. Outside their window, the city shimmered. Not the harsh glow of ambition she once chased, but a softer light that reminded her of the night everything came undone just enough for something better to take its place. And that's the heartbeat of this story. When truth finally rises, it doesn't shout, it steadies you. Clears the noise. It shows you the path you were meant to walk all along. If this moment touched you, please like, share, and subscribe to Canada's Heartfelt Tales so we can keep bringing you stories that stay with you long after they end.